The 7-county metro area is a truly special place to live. We have parks, open space, and miles of trails for residents to get outside and enjoy the great Colorado weather. But there's a little-known organization that is a huge part of making sure the urban environment is a safe and beautiful place to live, work, and recreate.
Mile High
Flood District.
The Mile High Flood District is a special district that was created to protect the Denver metropolitan area from the devastating impacts of flooding.
We were established to be a regional agency, which is very important because, as we know, flood water doesn't stop at jurisdictional boundaries. We serve 35 municipalities and 7 counties and over 3 million people.
Our mission is protecting people, property, and the environment through preservation, mitigation, and education. We do that by planning, designing, and constructing infrastructure that prevents flood damages and also provides amenities for the public to enjoy, open spaces and access to our streams.
These open spaces are green threads that connect our communities and provide an opportunity for people to interact with nature.
This amazing community value is the result of decades of hard work and collaboration.
In 1965, there was a large flood event that did almost $3 billion worth of damage in the Denver area.
The flood really woke people up to the need to have a coordinated strategy for flood mitigation.
So in 1969, the Colorado State Legislature created the Urban Drainage and Flood Control District, which is now the Mile High Flood District.
The district was initially funded through taxpayer levies, later cut in half by the annual levy law and Tabor, but then
in 2018, the voters showed us how much they value the work we do by overwhelmingly voting for ballot initiative 7G, which restored our statutory mill levy. We're very grateful to the voters for the trust and support they showed us when they voted for this, and it makes us want to work harder than ever to show them the great things that we can do with the additional revenue.
Master planning is the key. It really gives us our game plan to move forward with.
It's where we develop the hydrology, identify the flood risk areas, and determine what projects need to be built in the future to reduce that flood risk.
We use master planning to inform budgeting and to really influence smart community development. They provide us that single opportunity to study the entire system.
that comprehensive approach is embodied in 6 guiding principles.
Public safety is our #1 core value. We want to make sure that flood flows are away from people and their property.
So as the metro area continues to grow, we try to do what we can to limit the encroachment on the channels. That way, in the event of a flood, we don't have people in those dangerous areas.
We do that by building projects that help to mitigate the flood risks that exist today, and by guiding development so that new flood risks aren't created in the future. We have an interactive map on our website where people can find flood risk information related to their property.
By visiting our website and going to look at the alert system, a network of over 230 automated stations, they can get predictions of which streams may be threatened. They can realize the threat. They can talk to their neighbors about their threat. Appropriate actions can be taken. That's a big part of the services we provide as well.
A commitment to safety is the basis for the next core value.
Support local governments. Everything we do is in partnership with local governments. We were established to support their needs.
Local governments are our first line of defense. They're the first ones to be impacted by floods. They're the first ones to respond to floods. We work behind the scenes with local governments to help them prepare for their response and to respond in a time-sensitive way to a flood emergency.
Ways in which we support our local governments include developing technical resources like our criteria manual. We also support them with reviews of development projects. And from a regulatory perspective, assist with their water quality permits.
That support rests on a commitment to solid financial practices.
We take fiscal responsibility very seriously. We are very careful with the tax dollars that we collect to make sure that the voters get the best value they can from the projects that we create. I'm very proud of the fact that we invest all the tax dollars we collect locally. We hire local contractors and local consultants to do the work, to do the planning, the design, the construction, the maintenance, and the routine work along the streams with picking up trash and managing weeds. The flood district situation is unique in that we don't carry any debt at all. It's very unusual for a government. We have an annual process for our capital improvement plan. We partner with the local governments to leverage our tax dollars with their tax dollars to double the work that we can do.
Because we're very conscious of being responsible with taxpayer dollars, we are often looking at new ways to improve our processes. So we worked with consultants and contractors, as well as our local government partners, to identify where we could improve designing an alternative project delivery option, which is relationship-based. We call that project partners. We bring in the entire design team and construction team at the onset of a project so that we can maximize opportunities that we see throughout the design process. The project partner process is what efficient government looks like.
The district's focus on partnership and collaboration extends beyond people.
Be good stewards of our watershed. Our early practices really included moving water away as quickly as possible from people and property, which meant that we used a lot of smooth surfaces like concrete to line them. But we've come to appreciate a more holistic approach, learning and mimicking natural streams. We create infrastructure that doesn't look like infrastructure, it looks like nature.
We know when we work with Mother Nature that our streams are more resilient, and so when they have a flood event, they recover much more quickly with less expense.
Another way the district shows stewardship is in our approach to debris management and vegetation management. Debris management is taking trash and debris from out of the channels, and vegetation management is taking dead and dying trees from the banks or from within the channel themselves, so that in the event of a flood, that debris doesn't end up downstream causing a constriction.
All this work rests on strong scientific foundations.
It's all about the science.
But it's also about translating science to practical tools and processes.
Things like more efficient flood risk mapping, improving water quality, and building streams that mimic nature in an urban setting.
We're constantly working on ways to improve our quantitative precipitation forecasting. We want these predictions going out about the impacts well before the rainstorm starts.
Part of our mission is education. And how we do that is through the Stream Management Academy, continuing education on the 5 elements: hydrology, hydraulics, geomorphology, vegetation, and people that should be foundational elements to urban stream projects.
And finally, the district recognizes the value of teamwork.
The people are really what make the district. We get to do a lot of great, fun, innovative projects. But it's pretty amazing to work around a collection of people that care so much about what we do and really try to make a difference on a daily basis.
In the old days, we were very siloed. Recently, we've turned that upside down by reorganizing the staff into a watershed approach. So we have teams in each watershed that are doing all those activities. This new approach makes us more efficient and effective in our work.
You get the right people in the room, the best outcome is going to take place.
The most rewarding part of my work is to see the final product, to know all of the time and resources that went into planning something and then designing it, building it, and finally seeing people in the community engaging with it is the best part of what we do.
Sometimes it starts with pipes in the ground, but it's much more than that. Really what we're trying to do with all of our projects is create connectivity to bring people down to our waterways, to get them to value them.
The more value people see in the open space and stream corridors, the more interested people are going to be to protect them.
And if we can get them to become stewards of those waterways, it's a win-win for everybody.